What's up, family? It appears that World War III is creeping closer and closer to the United States. The U.S. is being the bully that it is, continues to try and bully countries like Russia and China away from the idea of thinking about going to war with the U.S. And of course, that does nothing but infuriate the both of them, even including North Korea. All of them would love a piece of the United States on their own battlefield. Well, it looks like we are getting closer and closer to that coming to fruition. It all started recently this year when a Chinese spy balloon ended up flying over the United States, which was pretty much a national security threat that pretty much the U.S. wasn't even aware of. We pretty much ended up finding this balloon a few days after it had already traveled pretty much across the U.S. But the biggest question is, was this really a national security threat or was it not? According to China, they say that this was not any type of spy balloon. It pretty much was something that they were using for meteorology and ended up getting off track and flew all the way across the United States and pretty much hoovered over the U.S. for several days. But anyways, guys, the United States did respond to this spy balloon, ended up shooting it down with some F-16 fighter jets, shooting it down over the ocean, in which they were able to retrieve the debris from this spy balloon, but they have not yet released any information in regards to the debris that they actually recovered. Again, this particular spy balloon was the size of 3 school buses. And of course, since we did shoot this balloon down, China has now threatened the United States on its entities over downing this particular balloon. Yes, it says that China said on Wednesday that it will take measures against the U.S. entities related to the downing of the suspected Chinese spy balloon off the American East Coast. At a daily briefing, Foreign Minister spokesperson Wang gave no details and did not identify the targets or their measures. Now, China says that the balloon was an unmanned weather airship that was accidentally blown off course and accuses the U.S. of overreacting in bringing it down with a missile fired from an F-22 fighter jet. But again, like I said, the China is now threatening the United States, saying that they will be taking action because of this shot down Chinese spy balloon. But anyways, guys, it does not stop there, because we are also seeing as of this weekend where China is thinking about the idea of providing Russia with some tools, some equipment in regards to the war in Ukraine. Yes, guys, we have latest intel information that's saying that China could potentially push Russia-Ukraine conflict to a true world war using some lethal type of equipment. Yes, guys, it says that Friedman appeared in an interview with NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday, talking about the China-Russia relations, and said that China, first of all, they would like the war prolonged because it keeps the United States tied down a little bit. And we're burning through all of our weaponry and all of our military stock. Now, Friedman also said that he thinks that China would like a weak Russia that's forced to be economically dependent upon China, adding that China doesn't want a collapsed Russia. They want to be able to support them with everything that they need. And again, that is a very bad signal for Taiwan if the West could take Russia down. So I think that Chinese might be concerned about that, but I think that you can't exaggerate how important it would be if China did that. Then this would be a true world war. It affects everybody globally, and we're in a completely new world as of today. So again, guys, China is thinking about providing Russia with some artillery, some equipment, some machinery, so that that war can continue to go on a little bit longer, because that pretty much gets the United States occupied a little bit longer as well, which means that the U.S. will continue to use up all of their weaponry in the process, which means that someone could potentially attack the United States knowing that we are down on our equipment, down on our machinery, down on our bullets and guns and things like that right now. So we could be a little bit vulnerable at this particular time. But again, guys, you don't want to mess with the United States. but we are truly the bully of them all. But anyways, guys, also there was a report that came out on Russian TV over the weekend in which the Russian TV station says that the United States has declared war after their comments that they made in regards to Crimea. Yes, guys, a Russian propagandist has claimed on state TV that the U.S. has declared war on the country following reports of the White House's approval of targeted strikes on Crimea. In a video uploaded to Twitter by the account The Kremlin Yap on Saturday, Russian journalist Igor claimed that the U.S. has crossed a red line by supporting these particular strikes on Crimea. Now, again, according to Reuters, Washington supports Ukrainian attacks on military targets on the peninsula and has called for it to be demilitarized. Crimea was illegally annexed by Russia from Ukraine back in 2014. So again, guys, could there be some truth to this particular Russian individual or this Russian state TV station? Apparently, if they were able to put this information out, obviously it has been approved by the Russian government. So again, guys, has the U.S. declared war on Russia? And if they have, what's going to happen next? Could this be leading us close to a World War III? Well, guys, everything that is going on right now is leading us towards a closer World War III. Now, in response to this information in regards to China supplying Russia with these lethal weapons and other artillery and equipment to help them fight off Ukrainians, the United States put out a warning message over the weekend towards China. And yes, guys, the United States is warning China not to supply Russia with any weapons for the Ukrainian war. And this is a direct threat to China, which is very interesting because it does raise the tensions between both countries in a time where war is officially going on right now, which is pretty much about to hit its 1-year anniversary come this week sometime. But again, guys, the United States is sending a clear warning message directly to China. And the U.S. intelligence suggests that China is considering providing arms and ammunition to Russia and involvement in the Kremlin's war effort that would be a serious problem, according to the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Yes, guys, Blinken said that the United States long has been concerned that China would provide weapons to Russia. He pointed to Chinese leader Xi promise to Russian President Vladimir Putin of a partnership with no limits when they met just weeks before Putin sent his troops into Ukraine on February the 24th. And since then, ties between the two countries have only grown even stronger. And again, in a statement saying that, look, we've been watching this very, very closely, and for the most part, China has been engaged in providing rhetorical, political, and diplomatic support to Russia, but we have information that gives us concerns that they are considering providing some lethal support to Russia in the war against Ukraine, according to Anthony Blinken. And yes, guys, this information was actually posted yesterday on Sunday during the Meet the Press. But again, Blinken also said that it was important for me to share very clearly with Wang Yi that this would be a serious problem if it actually happens. With Putin determined to show some progress on the battlefield at the war nears the 1-year mark this week, Russian forces have been on the offensive in eastern Ukraine. So again, guys, more information that is leading us to a World War III. The United States directly sending a warning message to China saying that you better not provide any type of weapons whatsoever, even though the United States is providing weapons to Ukraine to fight off Russia. But again, other countries cannot do the same for some apparently reason. Could this be the bully in the U.S.? I'll leave that question up to you guys. Comment down below and let me know what you think about this bully tactics. But anyways, guys, we did hear from one of the senators in Congress, Lindsey Graham, in which he put out a statement over the weekend and said the U.S. should designate Russia state sponsor of terrorism. Now, again, this is one thing that the White House has denied from doing this for a long time and definitely did not want to do this. But Lindsey Graham considers this needs to be done as of now. The U.S. should designate Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism and begin training Ukrainian pilots on the use of F-16 fighter jets, according to Senator Lindsey Graham. And Graham's view clashes with that of the Biden administration, which has consistently opposed naming Russia a state sponsor of terrorism, citing unintended drawbacks that would accompany the decision, which also accompany the idea of going to war with Russia. And then again, guys, I have a side question for you. If we do end up getting into a war with Russia? Would China go ahead and jump in to help Russia out because they have an opportunity to fight against the United States as well? Also, that could pretty much jeopardize the Chinese economy, considering they get majority of their money and funding directly from the U.S. So you really don't know what to think about Xi and China in regards to what he is thinking about the idea of going to war with anyone at this particular time. But you definitely don't want to take anything off the table because things could pop off at any minute, especially as we are dealing with the tensions in this country as well as other countries like Russia, China, as well as North Korea right now. You definitely don't want to take anything off the table. All three of them definitely want an opportunity to go to war with the United States, but they don't want to play things fairly, obviously. And speaking of North Korea, over the weekend, they did end up firing a few missiles as the United States as well as South Korea continue to prepare for drills. Yes, guys, North Korea on Saturday fired a long-range missile from its capital into the Sea of Japan, according to its neighbors, a day after it threatened to take strong measures against South Korea and the United States over their joint military exercises that has been going on. And according to South Korean and Japanese militaries, the missile was fired on a high angle, apparently to avoid reaching the neighbors' territories, and traveled about 900 kilometers, which is around 560 miles, at a maximum altitude of around 5,700 kilometers or 3,500 miles in the air during an hour-long flight. Now, the details were similar to North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missile test flight that was done back in November, which experts said that demonstrated potential to reach the U.S. mainland if fired on a normal trajectory. So again, guys, this is just more information that the United States needs to be aware of. The United States is now looking towards putting even more sanctions against North Korea after them firing these missiles over the weekend, which again, this leads to more tension, which leads to the possibility of going to a World War III. So again, guys, also, North Korea has now warned of turning the Pacific Ocean into a firing range after their latest missile test that was done over the weekend. So obviously North Korea is not planning on stopping anytime soon. They will continue to keep firing these missiles, testing them, because they want the opportunity to make sure that they have in line a ballistic missile that can reach directly to the United States. That is their main objective. That is what they're working on, and they won't stop until they get it done. And then once they get that done, what is the next step? Are we going to war with North Korea? And if so, is Russia going to jump in as well as is China going to jump in? Again, they all want a piece of the U.S. because we continue to be the bully in the international countries all around. So anyways, guys, that is just the latest information. You need to prepare yourselves because you never know when things might pop off. But again, guys, so far it looks like we are safe. It looks like China does want to keep things safe. He doesn't believe that going to war with anyone has the best interest in the world. But again, that is just him talking, depending on how you take it. Again, that is all we have today. I hope all this information in this video was helpful to you today. Well, anyways, guys, hey, that's all we have for you today. Feel free to check out some of the links down below, some free offers to give you things like some free stocks, some free money in your pocket, as well as Amazon Prime membership for free for 30 days. If you are interested, those links will be down below. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like today's video, then go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.